Hey everybody! So, everybody wants to get better at flipping, and a lot of you want to get better quickly. So, here is how to do that. Basically, I'm going to be going over a trick that I'm learning with you guys as I talk you through the process of learning quickly. So the biggest thing you want to consider when trying to learn quickly is chunking. Chunking is the process of breaking something big down into little smaller pieces that are more manageable. So for instance, behind the 8-ball looks like this. But if you were to chunk it out into smaller sections, it would look like this. And so, it's a lot easier to learn these as 3 separate movements than to try and learn the whole trick as just this. Not smooth, but you get it. So, breaking it down into little pieces like that allows you to practice just certain parts of it until you get that down. And this is especially useful because oftentimes tricks will have different spots that are harder than others. So, for instance, I am trying to learn the giraffe, which I would say it looks like this, but I can't do it yet, so you know, kind of like that, but not really. So the giraffe is a bite handle scissor, which will then go around your middle finger, and then you'll stick out your ring finger and do a ring finger vertical chaplain, reverse vertical chaplain. So for instance, there's certain parts of that trick that I personally find harder than others. For instance, I can already scissor, so I don't find that scissor part to be very difficult. The next spot, however, is a little bit more tricky. Now you're supposed to use the momentum of the scissor to do it, which kind of makes it a little easier. But then also I find it's difficult to do the chaplain. They're getting better, but still can't really do them. So for me, it's helpful to chunk it out into smaller sections. And since I don't need to practice the scissor very much, what I can do is every time I want to practice, I can just start in this position as if I just caught the scissor. Little piece of grass in there now. So I can start in that position, which will allow me to focus on just the things that I'm struggling with, instead of having to go over and do the things that I can already do. And that's going to help you learn a lot faster, because there's no sense in practicing something you can already do. Practice is for things that you can't do and that you want to be able to do. And so that is, I think, a big part about learning quickly. There are some other things to consider though, especially things that people don't always think about. So for instance, I'm trying to learn this right now on my Sasori. And I literally just started trying to learn this, so I haven't tried it on any other balisongs. And if you have multiple balisongs, especially multiple that are good, trying to learn a trick on only one of them until you've learned it completely is not a good idea. And the reason is that all balisongs have different momentum, different weight distributions, and some balisongs just do certain tricks easier than others. So when you're trying to learn a new trick, you want to make sure that you try it on multiple different balisongs, because it's very possible that one of your balisongs, it's going to be really hard to do, but on another one it might be super easy. Now of course, if you only have a single balisong, you have no choice but to learn it on that. But that is the great thing about having a collection, is it allows you to try out tricks on different ballies and see which ones are easier. So that, I think, is something a lot of people don't consider. Another thing to think about is what you're flipping over. So when you're learning a new trick, a lot of you will know this, but for beginners, maybe not. When you're learning a new trick, you generally want to be careful what you're learning it over. I would recommend only doing it over soft surfaces like carpet, potentially grass, or your bed. And if you can help it, if you're going to be doing it on carpet or grass, I would suggest it's even better to be closer to the ground so that if you drop it, it only falls like a foot. Because when you're learning a trick, you're going to drop the balisong a lot. And it makes no sense to cause unnecessary damage to your balisongs. Now, of course, if you're just doing your everyday flipping, it's not as, you know, flip over whatever you want. But when you're learning a trick, there's no reason to say do it over concrete, especially if you're trying to learn like double aerials or something, where you're probably going to drop it a lot. Because that's just the nature of balisongs. I personally don't even like flipping over concrete in general, especially not with my Sasori. So if you're going to learn something new, I would say don't ever do it over concrete. Beds are the best, especially if you live with others, because beds are quiet when you drop them. Could go outside like I am right now, but you know. That's kind of my big 3 tips for trying to learn a new trick. Is chunk it into different sections so you can practice each one individually. Try it out on different balisongs so that you can make sure that you are doing it on the one that is easiest. Because even if it's easier on one balisong, if you can learn it on that balisong, you will basically know it on every balisong. Yes, it's going to be a little more difficult on other ones, but you already know the general feeling of the trick. And then lastly, flip over soft surfaces, especially like your bed, and surfaces where the balisong is going to drop as little distance as possible. That is how you get better quickly. Yeah, if you guys had any video suggestions, as always, leave them in the comments. I'll read those. If you could subscribe, that'd be wonderful. We're on our way to our goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. You guys crushed the last subscriber goal of 700 by the end of the summer. So there will be a sneak peek of something I'm working on whenever it is ready. But yeah, that was all that I had for you guys in today's video. Hope you have all had a great day, and until next time, keep flipping.